A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
Amen. Welcome everyone to the Sunday Podcast, episode 3 or 44, depending on how you like to count. We have a full table today. We have with us today Josh.
Yes.
We have Jose. We have Nick. We have Fatty. Hi. Fatty.
We're not doing that anymore.
Mike.
But
Or Fatty.
We have Anthony or Tony, and we
Hello.
have Elizabeth.
And we could be having a couple more guests.
Well, we don't know if they want to be named, so we're gonna say we have people.
Good people.
We have people.
and of course
Why are we pretending that there are more
Irene, who
people?
will give us her word
That's
later
right.
on.
What's that?
Why
Irene.
are we pretending that there are more people?
Why are we pretending?
No,
It's just nice to.
they're gonna come.
Oh, and we can't forget Irene.
I
She's
just-
not allowed to say anything.
That's right.
She's
Thank
here
you,
in spirit.
Irene, for your continued patronage and your words of encouragement. She just nodded in agreement. Well done. Anyway, so getting right into the swing of things today, I believe we had a couple topics we wanted to talk about.
Yes.
Josh, would you care to launch us into our first?
Well, it's not really me. Mike he's starting us off today with our first topic of Saint Dracula.
Saint
Oh, yes.
Dracula.
Of course.
Okay. So, of course, we are talking of the ever-famous Saint Vlad the Impaler today. Saint Vlad the Impaler was was the Prince of Wallachia, modern-day Romania, back in, I believe it was the 1300s, 1400s, something like that. And there are many stories of him, but one of the most famous is how he was declared Defender of the Faith by the Pope, who then revoked the title.
So,
But yes.
but he officially declared it and then had to revoke it.
Yes.
Okay, why? Why do you have to revoke
Okay.
it?
Well, let's first go into why he received it.
Fair enough.
So Wallachia was this little tiny country, this little tiny Christian country, and all surrounding it were all of these lands that the Muslims, but it was the Turks, had conquered, and they just much larger countries than Wallachia, much better armies and so on, but they fell. But Wallachia did not. So Pope hears of this. Here's this little bastion of Catholicism in this land surrounded by the Muslims, and he's like, well, we have to praise this guy. He's defending the faith. So he sends his emissary over, gives him the title. But it was about 6 months later, the Pope learns as to how it is that Vlad is defending his country from the Muslim Turks. And so he removes the title. Vlad had, in the forest that surrounded Wallachia, whenever any soldiers or scouts of the Turks would come, he would have them killed, and he would impale not just them, but also their horses on these massive stakes in the forest and surrounding it. And so finally the Turks just became so scared that they just forgot, they just didn't care about Wallachia, just let it go. And yeah, the Pope didn't look so kindly on this, way of means justifying the ends. But he was defender of the faith for some time.
That's interesting. Right. And that's where we get our modern Dracula from. Is that right?
Well, Vlad was known as Vlad Dracula, son of the dragon.
Oh, wow.
And Dracula is then, of course, the name that we know today as Dracula the vampire.
Interesting.
That's probably my favorite Mike story ever.
Better than the
Shall I
cartography
go
story?
on
No, the
with-
cartography
there are more
stories.
Vlad stories, Saint Vlad stories.
Well, let's sparse them out. Maybe we can milk
Okay.
this
Okay.
ongoing.
Although I was watching Anthony's eyes as you told the story, and I gotta say he was looking he was concerned.
Okay.
concerned for Vlad's
Concerned for
well-being.
his soul.
Of course.
Definitely.
Yeah, we can always pray for him. And so, is it the kind of thing where that was, because that seems obviously brutal, but not necessarily like against just war theory in my mind, given the time period. Was that like completely awful? Am I missing something of like how brutal it was?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was
okay.
very brutal.
It was very brutal.
Yeah.
Okay.
But burials were always something that's been.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I was
going
gonna say.
Yeah.
Burial.
So there's that added level of disrespect of not
yes.
giving burial
Yeah.
for the horses or the men.
Well, not for
the
the
horses
horses.
so much, but,
Not the
but
horses,
definitely the
I
men.
would say.
Yeah, the horses they just send to like glue factories.
Yes. Yes, of course.
We apologize to any equestrians tuning in. We are not advocating the.
We're not
treatment
advocating
of
horse
horses.
burials,
Yeah.
are we?
Nah,
Good.
but
We are not
advocating
encouraging
I don't know.
horses
treatment
nor
of horses.
burial.
I don't know, Jose. It seemed like you were.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know what my stance is on that anymore. I'll leave that to the individual.
okay, you
We
actually
take
have
a
a really
middle
fun
ground
story to
stance.
branch off of this.
Okay, go ahead.
So at my old parish, when I lived in Georgia, there was this elderly couple who owned a horse farm, and one of their horses had passed away. Well, apparently there's some kind of, I'm fuzzy on the details, I don't remember much, this was years ago, but apparently in the state of Georgia, if you owned a horse and it died, you had to bury it or get rid of the body within like a few days,
Yes.
or else you'd get fined or whatever, like the law would come down on you in some way or another, okay? And so they remember the Knights of Columbus, but the husband was. And he tried so hard to get people to come out and help him bury the horse because he couldn't dig a big enough hole. And it was so sad. But eventually the Knights came out the day before the law would have, the limit would have, the time limit. And so they were trying to bury the horse and they just couldn't dig a big enough hole. So they decided to burn the horse. And so they pile wood on it and they burn it and it gets out of control and this horse carcass is like burning and smoldering for days, just stinking up the whole neighborhood.
Oh
And
no.
I don't know if you know this, but burning something is not the same as cremating something. It doesn't just magically turn into ash and get rid of the body.
Oh, it doesn't?
Instead, you have a charred horse corpse in your yard.
Yeah,
You
smells
still have
bad.
to get rid of somehow.
Terrible.
It's terrible, yes.
So what ended up happening? Did they have to dig a hole anyway?
I think so. I don't remember how that ended.
That's the worst.
Well, yeah. All I remember is that it was a funny story in the Knights of Columbus Council there because the time when all the knights couldn't put their heads together to figure out how to get rid of a horse carcass.
For you at home who cannot see, Josh is like giddiness in his face. This is incredible.
It's just so messed up.
It is messed up. It's unfortunate because I can relate heavily to that level of like incompetence to be able to be like, let's just burn it.
It's just
It'll
like
go
when
away.
like when you're baking and something's going horribly wrong and you try and fix it and then something catches fire and then you start panicking. Like that's kind of
Why?
what happened.
Yeah. Did you just?
Why this week?
Fatty got a high chair. Fatty, why did you get a high chair?
Because the swivel chair was very squeaky,
It
and
was
I didn't
what?
want. It was very squeaky.
Oh, you were thinking of the podcast?
Yes, always
That's
put the
fair.
podcast first.
Thank you. We appreciate your sacrifice. I have another branching off thing.
Yes.
Because we have a bit of time, don't we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? The Dark Universe. Speaking of Dracula, that's why I connected your thing to
Okay.
Dracula.
Okay.
So there's a new trailer. Have any of y'all seen it? For The Invisible Man.
No.
No? It's I
But
think
I'm familiar with the story.
you're familiar with the story.
Yeah.
There was a movie that came out.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be, I think, attempt number 3 to launch a dark universe. Which, if you don't know what it means, it's like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that, but for Universal movie monsters. Like Dracula.
The
Frankenstein. The
Mummy.
Mummy.
Yeah.
Many of the mummies. Frankenstein's wife, because
Nicolas-
apparently that's a thing.
Nicolas Cage.
Just
Nicolas
himself?
Cage
Yeah.
is not
The worst monster of
Frankenstein's
all?
wife. Nicolas Cage is not Frankenstein's wife.
I mean, no, Nicolas Cage is just
Nicolas
Nicolas
Cage recently
Oh,
did an
hey.
HP
Nicolas
Lovecraft
Cage is
movie.
Nicolas
Join
Cage.
us.
Oh, we have
Oh,
guests.
we have
We have
Oh my
guests.
gosh. Now,
Can
do you want code names? Do you want?
Why would I need a code name?
Okay,
We're-
Maria's here. Hi, Maria.
So y'all,
And then who
this
else
is
do we have
Michael.
here?
This is my brother. He's visiting.
Hey, man. Did Did you fill Michael in on what's happening? Or is
Very briefly, very vaguely.
I don't really know what's happening. So.
Oh, we're just doing a podcast literally
We
right
just
now,
talked about Dracula.
which is why you feel like an affection in my voice, like going like, "Hey, how are you doing?"
We talked about Dracula and horse corpses already.
Also, Vlad the Impaler.
And Vlad the Impaler. Well, yeah.
That's right.
Um,
Eventually, we're going to move into talking about Lent.
Yeah. That's
Sign of better things to come in a
Yeah.
second.
So pull up a chair. We're
Yeah.
just talking.
Pull up a high chair, preferably, if you would. We like high chairs on this show.
But it's your choice. I mean,
They got the high chair.
I like high chairs.
let me scoot over because if you're behind the laptop, you might not be able.
Yeah.
Oh,
Please.
I can speak loud.
Wait, say
That's
that.
true.
Say that
Yeah.
again.
I can speak
Oh yeah,
loud.
yeah. Look at that.
You
Yeah,
just,
okay.
yeah.
It's
That was
pretty-
phenomenal.
Okay, whatever.
This is
Okay.
This is Mike. This is Nick. This is Jose. And this is Josh.
Or
Remember
or,
all of
or
that
Kyle.
because it will not be repeated to you, sir.
Nope, I'm done.
That's it.
Elizabeth, because she's the only other girl in here.
Yeah, there you go. That's
And
easy
Jose's
enough.
the Colombian.
That's right. Is
Mike
that
is
easy
the
enough?
host.
Way to make that sound. Never mind.
I love it. She knows I love it. It's good. So anyway, yeah. The last movie to come out in the Dark Universe was The Mummy with Tom
Yeah.
Cruise.
Yeah.
Which I liked, but apparently no one else
I
liked.
never saw it.
You never saw it?
No, but I saw the trailer and it looked pretty good. But then I forgot about it.
Anyway, I think that's
Wait,
good.
was that the one where the audio was missing
Whoa.
from the trailer?
Someone is printing right now. They're gonna have to come in here to
The
get it.
Invisible Man!
Wow.
It's the Invisible Man.
What is
does he
printing?
say
What
to
are they
us?
printing?
Yeah.
Also,
wonder.
was the
So
audio-
for our audience, the place where we like record is in like this study room, and someone just printed something out on the printer, which means they're probably coming to get it.
No, I wonder how they printed it out on the printer.
No, it's the ghost. We gotta call
Here's my spinner
Ghostbusters.
list. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I knew you would like that. That was pretty good. But anyway, did you say the audio cut out for the trailer?
So there was a Mummy movie recently where they had a trailer that when it was officially released, parts of the audio were missing.
That could definitely work.
So
Yes, I think it was.
Did the trailer have like a plane and there were like bats flying
Yes.
around the plane? Yes. There was when it was officially released, one of the releases like aspects of the audio were missing, and it made for this hilarious trailer because it's meant to be a horror movie, but it ends up feeling like a comedy because you're just, as this like dramatic scene is happening where all these bats are flying around this plane, the plane's like crashing and everybody's flying, bouncing around the plane. All you're just hearing is oof, ow, ooh.
I remember that. You're absolutely right.
It was amazing.
I gotta look that up.
You do. It's actually what's crazy is that they filmed that in actual 0G on a plane, but they cut so much that you cannot tell that it's real. So it's like it was such a waste of money. And then to do that with the trailer is even worse. Anyway, great franchise. I hope it works out. We have a.
Ari canceled it.
They already, but they came out with the Invisible Man. Didn't you
That
see?
wasn't related. They were like rebooting again because
Oh.
originally Dracula Untold was supposed to be the start, and that ended up not working. So then they tried the Mummy, and that didn't work.
Oh my gosh, you're
I
right.
worked at a
forgot.
movie theater for both of them.
He
and they
also
were
did
like,
his senior thesis
You
on
were there
horror,
with the
so-
foam finger, like for the Dark Universe, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, they both bombed.
Yeah, that's rough, man. But it's okay.
That's awful.
I don't want to cut too much into our time because I know we have another topic,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to go into a little bit of Lent.
Where are
Oh,
we
yeah.
in?
I think
Yes.
Anthony.
That's
yeah, we want to
true,
go in
Maria.
again.
We're
Like,
going
wasn't that
How
fun, guys?
dare you?
Well, it's the first week of Lent, so I hope everyone is observing prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, the 3 pillars of the season. Just really quickly, if you want an idea to help you increase your spiritual life during this season, if you don't already pray a daily rosary, that would be a great place to start. I know that's how I started praying a daily rosary, was during Lent. And then, I stuck with it for the rest of the year. On campus, we have a rosary walk every evening at 9 o'clock outside the dorms. All are welcome to come, and it's great to pray in
Anthony's
groups.
Anthony's just guilting us all here. He
Yeah,
wants
it's
us all
good.
to come.
Yes.
He's like,
But it is good, yeah.
It's good, yeah. So
That is good.
for Lent, if you don't already pray a daily rosary, pray the rosary. It's the
Awesome.
most powerful prayer the church has after the liturgy.
This is why Anthony's a part of it. He keeps it Catholic.
He does.
He's our rock. He's our Petrus.
Oh shoot!
Um,
I have to turn my
Which one of you was that? Because Maria's
That was both
also-
of us.
Really? Both?
Wow.
It's from our mom.
And Mom says,
Are you still on the plane?
oh,
They got off the plane 3 hours
imagine how
ago.
excited your mom's going to be when she finds out you're on a world-renowned podcast.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
When did
Michael,
it become
what's-
world renowned?
What's
Since
that?
its inception,
Yeah, pretty much. It came out to glaringly beautiful reviews, such as.
I want to point out, this is kind of like not what we're talking about right now, but the cafeteria suddenly coming out with the best desserts during Lent.
Yes.
What is up with
Mike
that?
and I
On
noticed that
Ash
today.
I think-
Yes.
Yeah.
Miss Avon, please. Why?
Well,
Yeah, they
Savage.
had like so many more dessert
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
like
since.
peanut butter,
If they don't have good
chocolate
stuff
peanut
on
butter
Sunday,
desserts. I think the reason for all the
Make it more
cookies is
penitential.
because they're left over from the Mardi Gras.
Yeah, that's what I was
Okay.
saying. I was
Probably
like,
why there's a lot of
they're
cookies,
trying to make
but-
it more penitential, so there's something that you can get, but
Right.
you won't get it.
It's like Job
hopefully.
being tempted just to test us.
Exactly. The cafeteria is testing all of us.
Wait, are we saying the cafeteria is like the devil then? Because it was the devil
Basically.
who was going out of his way to test Job.
Well, I mean,
So-
God can test you too. So.
God doesn't test us; He allows us to be tested.
Sorry.
You guys want to say hi to the
Josh is
podcast?
coming.
Oh, what's up? Hey, podcast, what's happening?
Thank you.
Oh, wow, that's
thank,
good.
thank you, random guests.
Oh, did you print? It was.
Oh,
you.
it was her.
We
Okay.
stole all your paper, but it's
It's
there.
right there. It's
That's it.
It was from upstairs. Sorry.
okay. No, you
No,
guys are
you're
good.
fine.
Good.
Thank you for stopping by.
See you, podcast.
Oh, wow. Podcast making friends out here. That's beautiful.
Mm.
I have no idea who they were.
What's that?
Same as Peter.
Peter?
Oh, Peter.
Yeah.
Spelled how?
I would imagine Peter, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
Peyton.
We can debate it further. We can inquire. But anyway, Peter.
P-I-T-I-R-I-P-E-T-O-R.
Do you guys remember when the
Peter.
RA walked in? That one night?
I do.
Oh
Cameron.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
have a
I
lot of
wouldn't
guest
be surprised if
appearances.
that happens again.
Yeah.
Except we didn't check any of the girls.
We don't have
We
to
didn't,
like
but we don't have to
tonight.
today.
We don't have to today because it's spring break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad. You know I hate breaking rules. So thank
Yes.
you for clearing my conscience. Anyway, so yeah, cafeteria food.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was just surprised they actually put out chicken for lunch, or as
Yeah.
I
part
know.
of lunch during Ash Wednesday, and then also today.
And today
they
on Friday during
had
Lent.
meat. I mean,
It was just sitting
Yes.
there so temptingly, like just alongside everything else. Like you were supposed to grab it, going along, getting your rice, and then it's like, oh,
Right.
chicken. Oh, wait.
people
Can't take
people might forget or something. I mean, I'm for just no meat in the cafeteria at all on Fridays during any Friday of the year, because that's the recommended sacrifice that the church asks you to make for Fridays. All Catholics are required to make some sacrifice on Fridays.
Because it's
Yeah,
the day
I do
that
wish it
Jesus
was
Yeah.
like that. I guess they don't want to impose it.
But they, yeah, I mean, yeah,
They
there's
oftentimes forget in the morning, like if it's in the morning.
Right.
So today at lunch, I don't know if any of you were there, but apparently I had my headphones in. I had my Heelys on, as I do. And so I told you guys, most of you at lunch or at dinner through the week, that last week, or earlier this week I should say, I got reprimanded by the chef in the cafeteria for wearing my Heelys. I Heeled down and he goes, "Sir, not here, not ever. Don't ever bring those back. You could hurt someone." He was very serious about it. And I was polite. I thought he meant just the kitchen area, so I thought the dining area was separate. Well, so today I didn't skate at all in the kitchen area, but I skate back and forth to get water and just do it to relax. I like healing. And so today I put in my headphones, put my tray away, and then heeled away from the kitchen towards the door. And later, about a couple hours after that, I'm in my sacred scripture class with Father Bob, and my classmate Mary tells me that he was fast walking after me, behind me, yelling at everybody behind me to stop that man.
what?
Oh my
And I had my headphones in, and he said, I know he turned his music up so he couldn't hear me. I had no idea this was happening behind me as I skated away, but apparently he was pointing at everybody he could to try and stop me, because he said, that man's going to hurt someone. Someone stop that man.
You
And-
haven't even been here a semester, and you're already breaking the rules.
And so now I'm
Yeah.
actually afraid, so I'm probably not going to be wearing my Heelys anymore in the cafeteria because I don't want to start anything. I don't want to get fined or reprimanded. I would love to do it just to see the
I mean,
look on his face when I Heely by him. It could be like Ferris Bueller in The Principal, where he's like fast walking by the windows or whatever.
Fines for wearing Heelys in a cafeteria.
I guarantee
It would
you,
be
there's
for like not listening to the
Yeah, I don't
to the workers.
I guarantee you there's going to be a sign put up soon saying no skating.
No Heelys.
And I guarantee you,
No Heelys.
Yeah, no Heelys. Which is kind of upsetting because Miss Avon and the other two girls who run the desk all will love my Heelys. I get compliments on my Heelys. But the people in the kitchen look at me like I'm the scourge of the earth. Which is probably because they're liable, I guess. I don't know.
They also have to clean up any messes that are caused.
Yeah, and they could just have genuine concern for my well-being and others, but I choose to see them as like, viva revolution. I will Heely my way to a better system.
They probably just never worked at a drive-in.
Honestly, you ever been to Sonic? That's my kind of place. Skating around.
Do you usually
Some-
get like drive-throughs of like guys on a Heeley or like a skateboard on the drive-through?
Roller skates at Sonic.
Roller skates
Yeah,
at Sonic?
that's their
roller
thing.
Okay.
They roller skate your food out to you.
Oh, that's what we're talking about. I thought you meant like at the drive-through window, people would come up. Would
Oh no, but if
sometimes be
I
like a
worked
Heeley guy.
if I went to Chick-fil-A, I'd do that. I'd Heely around up to the cars.
You heelied up to
Huh?
cars at Chick-fil-A.
No, I'd say if I worked at Chick-fil-A, I would. I'd be that guy.
Oh.
on Heelys.
Wait, they have drive-in Chick-fil-A's?
Oh no, not driving, but like
Drive-through.
they you can sit.
But
at the,
there's a person outside. who
They have
takes
parking
your
lot ser-
orders and
curbside
stuff,
service
and
or
then
whatever.
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
the food
Oh,
out
that's
to
an
you.
interesting
Honestly,
idea.
Heelys, that would be a good idea.
Freddie would do that.
Yeah.
Freddie would be the one who would wear Heelys while he was bringing people their orders.
I
Yeah.
love,
Now,
I love
have you
Freddie.
ever been to a Sonic
Yes.
that doesn't have the roller skates?
Yes, and I was actually severely disappointed
It
because
is disappointing.
nationwide they stopped doing it because people were getting hurt.
Oh no, like I know a Sonic that
Weeklings.
that
I
they do the roller skates, but then the Sonics near our house does not. They only walk, and it's very disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, a Sonic corn dog tastes better when they bring it to you on roller skates because you feel like they came out of heaven. Okay, here they are, bringing you this glorious food. But when they walk out, it's like, oh, so you came from purgatory.
And I mean, it gets to you faster on roller skates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's science behind it.
Practical
Practical.
reasons.
They were saying
Like,
Paul's,
even-
choice of maneuvering.
Really?
Moving around. Yeah, oh yeah, he used roller skates all the time.
Cool.
The Sonic in Palatka does roller skates, but the Sonic near my house does not. That's what I don't understand.
I don't get it.
What's your favorite fast food place?
Ooh.
Define fast food.
Anything that makes you fatter once you eat it. I mean, like,
So that's like every restaurant in excess then.
yeah. Well, let's. I mean, what were you thinking that was the outlier?
I don't know, like,
Or chain
Any
restaurants.
chain-
I think it has to have
It has
like
to be
a
a
fast
chain.
food or a drive-through
Yeah.
line.
That's a
Yeah.
key element.
I think, yeah.
Honestly, I'd probably have to
Like,
go.
IHOP doesn't count.
No.
but
No.
the flip side of that is there are like IHOPs and Dairy Queens and stuff that have drive-ins or drive-throughs.
Then you're
IHOP?
golden.
IHOP?
You guys have never seen that?
I've never
I've
seen
seen it
that.
twice. They were both in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh would do.
I'd probably still have to go with.
drive through pancakes.
Yeah, honestly, how
Honestly.
big would that box need to be to get the?
I don't
That's
know.
a lot of food at
Yeah.
IHOP, man.
Can you drive and pour maple syrup?
I don't know. That's
I
a
hope-
I don't know.
difficult.
Can you?
IHOP would like a sponsorship for our next episode, please.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'd probably go with Chick-fil-A.
Really?
Honestly.
Yes.
So
It's
we're
good-
done
it's
choice.
good enough
Chick-fil-A
for Kanye
from
West, it's
Freddie
good
at
enough
any
for me.
point?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
But that was when y'all went out to.
That was when we went to Walmart.
Oh, okay.
Quite
Then
the excursion that was.
You know what close second though?
Arby's.
In-N-Out Burger.
In and out.
Out
Burger?
west.
I would choose In-N-Out coming from Southern California.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That'd be
In-N-Out.
Michael, you said Arby's?
Raising
Chick-fil-A
Cane's is
followed
good
by
too.
Arby's.
Really?
never been there.
Have you guys had the Jamocha shakes recently?
Yes, I have. They're good.
Jamocha shake
Okay.
and curly fries.
Yeah. Or the jalapeno poppers.
Mm-hmm.
A funny story about Arby's actually. So when I was in welding school before I came here, every day at lunch I'd go to Arby's usually with a friend, but sometimes alone, to get my usual lunch. They had sliders for like $1.20 each or $1.30, and I would get like 3 of those, and it would end up being under $4, and I could fill up. It would be like a whole chicken tender between 2 pieces of bread, which what they deemed a slider. But I'd get
And
2
cheese.
and cheese, and I get 2 buffalo chicken and a jalapeno roast beef. Same thing every day. It got to the point so repetitive, 5 days a week at school, that I was sick for like a couple days. And when I came back, they actually told me they had like prepared food for me and I never showed up and they missed me. They were hoping I was
my
okay.
God.
And
my
then the
God.
next day, there was this little old black lady behind the counter, and she was the sweetest person ever. I loved her because every time I walked in, she was like, "See y'all, I told you he'd be here. How you doing, Josh?" She'd have my food ready for me every day, and it was amazing. So Arby's, literally, okay. Chick-fil-A is my favorite place to eat, but I have said it multiple times to you guys. You probably remember. I believe Arby's has like the best marketing campaign of any fast food restaurant because they're just straight up about who they are. They're like, we have the meat. They're like, look, you like meat. We're all about the meat. We don't care about being healthy. We don't try and play into fads. We're just here for the meat. And
Yeah.
they're honest. And you worked at Arby's, right, Mike?
Yes.
So
Not a sponsor, by the way.
not a sponsor
Yet.
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 Wait,
So-
how many of us here worked in fast food?
So
Not me actually.
I have.
I have.
Movie theaters does not count.
to any fast
Chick-fil-A.
food chains who we mention,
Well done.
always opportunities for sponsorships.
Absolutely.
We'll take the other ones too. Taco Bell,
Yeah.
McDonald's.
We'll take rival sponsorships. Like we'll take
Yes.
Taco Bell and also Del Taco.
Yes.
Or
Burger
Burger
King
King.
and McDonald's.
and McDonald's.
Yes.
Yep.
What's the competitor of Arby's?
There isn't one.
There isn't one. See what I'm
They're
saying?
that
Yeah.
good?
They're
Wow.
that good.
Who else does roast beef?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Almost no one.
You want to know why no one else does roast beef? Because they
Boston
know they
Market?
can't beat Arby's.
Does
You're
Boston
That's
Market do
not-
Boston
I don't-
Market does
I don't
not
think
have
that
roast beef.
qualifies as
I think Subway's the closest.
Oh, dude, I used to
Quiz
love
notes, maybe.
Subway.
Subway.
Okay.
$5.
Deeper question. Because of the story you just related to us about that lady who was so sweet, what's your like favorite experience with a fast food employee?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know what I mean?
That's
Because
a-
there are some people make or break the experience. Like your favorite.
I actually have one immediately
you?
in my head. Yes.
Please.
So it's actually not that. That is a good story, but that was more over time. One instance that stuck out to me was actually Chick-fil-A. Ironically, Chick-fil-A does have the best customer service I have ever seen.
Thank you.
They really do.
worked there, didn't
Well, I was in the drive-through line with my dad one day, and this guy literally had just mistaken the order behind us
Mhm.
for ordering an ice cream, like a chocolate-covered, really good ice cream cone that normally costs like $4. And he was just like, "Look, man, like I already made this. Do you want to just take it?" And he was just like, "I don't really care." He was like, "We're happy to make you happy," and I'm like, "I'll take that ice cream."
Oh
bro."
yeah, that's
And-
what we say. We call it surprise and delight.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's
so
what-
like you kind of say, and I love that. But then a week later, I went back again, and the same thing happened, but with the peach milkshake, and they gave it to me for free. And I gotta say that like Carrollton Chick-fil-A, Carrollton, Georgia, shout out, you guys are awesome. You guys are
Wow, that's awesome,
awesome.
dude.
So
I applaud that. Sounds like a legitimate thing. Were you about to applaud that? Yeah. In our hearts, we all applaud it. So is that a legitimate like policy?
Yeah. So like
Surprise
if
and
you,
delight?
yeah, that's like if you like, let's say you accidentally made an extra ice cream cone, or somebody didn't get their order, like they didn't pick it up somehow. They like there was a mistake made most of the time, and there's just like some extra thing lying around. We'll just give it to somebody.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
I
So
love
we'll go
that.
out, like if it's an ice cream cone, sometimes we'll give it to somebody in the drive-thru, or sometimes we'll have somebody walk around in the restaurant to give it to somebody who might want it.
awesome.
Hmm.
How did we end up talking about Chick-fil-A on a Friday in Lent?
Because we hate
So
ourselves.
that's what we all want. That's what we're all desiring.
Well,
right
some of them
now.
have the fish sandwich. Ours does
Chick-fil-A.
not.
Last year, Chick-fil-A passed up In-N-Out for #1 fast food restaurants in the nation.
Whoop.
Which is very impressive that restaurant that's closed 1/7 of the year would
Yeah.
win it. I also think it's impressive that In-N-Out, which is only on the west
Yeah.
side, was ranked so high.
Fun
first
fact.
and then second.
In-N-Out Burger is actually the only fast food restaurant that Gordon Ramsay loves. You can look up the story. He literally, the first time he had it, excuse me, the first time he had it, he went through the drive-thru twice. He ate the burger, but as he was pulling out, he devoured it. He went back in line and got another one. And he is a huge supporter of In-N-Out Burger.
But then, how can you be a supporter of like fast food chains? Because is it really that streamlined? Like, how do you have streamlined efficiency of making the same kind of burger, but also not cheapen the quality of the product? You know what I mean?
I know. It's
That doesn't make sense to me.
But-
I mean, Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out pull it off really well.
And I don't know.
I guess I haven't experienced either, so I guess that's why I don't.
But
know.
remember, there's always a secret to the madness. And Chick-fil-A, I don't know if you have experienced this, but they're very strict. So I have shout out to my best friend, one of my best friends, Madeline, who works at Chick-fil-A right now in Tennessee. But I also had another good friend named Bozeman who worked at Chick-fil-A in Georgia, and both of them have told me how strict they are on the rules. But my friend Bozeman got fired from Chick-fil-A because he dropped a latex glove in the parking lot leaving work, and a customer complained about it, and they fired him for that.
Wow.
Because it did not go along with the image of Chick-fil-A to litter in the parking lot. That's how strict they are. Yeah. So
I mean, In and Out, like you can.
It depends on the.
You can see them when
Yeah.
you go there. You can see them working, and they're always on point, super efficient. Yeah.
But In-N-Out Burger, bro, I mean, that's a legacy right there.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, well done. Well, before we keep
Never
everyone
mind.
going into like bitter temptation,
yeah.
question about cravings.
This is a perfect topic for Lent. We just talk about Lent and we start talking about all this food.
Yeah, no, it's just natural.
No.
It's like group
If
therapy.
you can't,
Like, I
if you
can't
can't
have it, but I want
experience
to talk
it,
about it.
at least
So, like,
enjoy dreaming about it.
That's right. Vlad the Impaler. How does that become? Because Dracula means son of the dragon. Yes.
Yeah.
Where does drinking blood come into the myth?
I don't know that side of the story actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Can
Want me to
you-
do a quick Google search?
I think this goes against our rules.
Oh, right. No research, no previous knowledge.
Would you care for some other Vlad stories though?
I would care for one more.
Okay.
I would
one
care
more.
for. Yeah.
Okay. Then let's do the one about the princess.
Okay.
So,
yes,
in-
please.
Princess.
In
story.
his youth, Vlad and his brother, when they were princes, they were captured by the Turks, and they were in the Turkish court where horrible, horrible things happened to them. And so when Vlad became prince of Malaysia, he wanted to get back at the king, so or the sultan rather. So he asked if he could marry one of his daughters. Sultan, he jumps at it. All right, good. He's going to get this political alliance between Malaysia and him. So he sends the princess over, and as soon as she gets to the palace, Vlad immediately throws her out a window, and she dies.
Wow.
And so Vlad asks again, "Can I have one of your daughters to marry?" And Sultan's like, "Oh, yeah, sure. What happened to the other one? But okay, sure." And so he gives him another daughter. And I believe this happened like 2 or 3 times.
Oh.
Oh,
So
man.
he made sure that he would get back at the Sultan.
What a cold-hearted killer.
Oh, yeah.
And also, what a
Yes, he was also...
Sultan must
The-
not have been very bright.
Yes, it was not so. But they were also... It was one of the lands with the least amount of crime. They prided themselves on the fact that the crown jewels were out in the middle of the marketplace. You could just take them. But it was because their crime, if you were caught, you got very severe punishments. Notably, stealing would cost you a hand. And, we're talking at a time when, you can't really steal something and it's going to be missing for long. They will find it, especially something like the crown jewels. And if you lose your hand, that's your livelihood.
Yeah.
So they prided themselves on the fact that they had, no crime within Malaysia.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
That is.
So the whole the many brides of Dracula thing kind of reminds me of what we just studied in sacred scripture. We were talking about how what is it? Oh, I feel so bad. I just studied it. I can't remember their names. That story in the Bible where the widow has had 7 husbands and they all died right after on the wedding
Oh,
night.
and John.
Yeah, and then that
Tobit.
Tobit.
Rachel.
Rachel.
No,
I
not
want to say her
Sarah.
name is Sarah.
Sarah, yeah. So I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah, she marries I think he's the 7th, I believe, and I could be wrong about that, but anyway, she marries all these men, and every night on their wedding night they die the next morning. They're dead the next morning, and it got to the point with Tobit that that's
Tobias.
Tobias.
Tobit was the father. Tobias is the one that it's mostly
Okay,
about.
okay.
But then I don't know her father.
Well, they were preparing a grave for him on the wedding night because they thought he was going to be dead. And all I can think about is, what is this poor woman going through? Imagine this guy. How can you ask someone to marry you when you have this weird curse about you that your new spouses always die. That's some courage right there. I gotta say, but it's kind of loosely tied into Dracula having. I mean, it's not the same at all, but you know. I was wondering,
It's a weird inverse. One
I
is
noticed-
like deliberately trying to murder
I noticed
women to
patterns.
get back at the father.
I'm
the
like,
other is
huh.
like a curse.
The
I
other
noticed
one is
patterns, and my
called
brain was like,
contemplate.
a lot of dead spouses. I can tie that in.
That was a very. I followed your
It's
train of
some sort of-
thought. As derailed as it was, I followed it. Yeah, no, very good. Do you think Vlad practiced his nightly rosary walk?
Probably not.
Probably not. Do you think if he had, he would have impaled as many people as he did?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. So, I mean, unless you want to become like that
We're
guy.
talking about a man who probably ate chicken on Friday.
That's exactly
Yeah.
it. And that's what's wrong with the world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't eat chicken on Friday.
Or don't make meatballs on Ash Wednesday.
That's
Right.
right.
Either.
There,
What?
we saw that.
You know
happen.
who you are.
We know who you are.
Yep.
Or sorry. Well, we know who they are,
Yeah,
but they
we
also
know
know
who
who
they
they are. Making meatballs and Goretti lobby it on Ash Wednesday.
Yep. I mean, we never saw them actually eating them,
True.
And maybe they were
But-
for the next day.
True.
but the fact that everything was plated.
Highly
Yeah.
incriminating.
Heathens.
Absolutely.
Anathema.
Wow. Well done.
I bet Vlad the Impaler also ate non-kosher quesadillas on
Oh, he
days
would
other than
have.
Tuesday.
That's-
He would have.
You
He
would.
would have.
But see, again, all of that could have been avoided. if
Or he didn't eat quesadillas at all.
That's right.
Who wouldn't eat
I mean,
quesadillas?
He did drip or soak his bread in his enemy's blood, so you know.
So it's a lunch too.
Sounds kind of, I don't know, Orthodox or Byzantine or something.
Whoa, shots fired to Anthony here.
Wow. Yeah, that's brutal. So I guess that's a nice way of kind of wrapping it up. Make sure to avoid all of that. Don't do any of what we just said. But do go to the Rosary Walk if you can. It's a very wonderful thing.
Pray the rosary.
Pray
on
the
your
rosary
own
even if
time
you can't make it to
can't
the Rosary
go
Walk.
to a rosary walk. Yep.
Yeah, and keep in mind going into Lent, the 3 pillars that Anthony mentioned, which I remember, but I know you remember as well, so I won't bring them up again. And that's about everything we have for today. Is that right?
Yeah, we're gonna do our fade out
We're gonna do our fade out.
for them. They can learn our fade out.
That's right. Is
Okay.
everyone ready?
Mike, you wanna conduct us?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
Amen.
No.